brings us to the great Pacific Northwest. Yeah, the roof is wide open. It is a gorgeous early evening here in Seattle. They take on the Texas Rangers. A nice matchup in the American League West. Aaron Goldsmith alongside Eric Karros. As we welcome you to the corner of Edgar and Dave. 68 degrees, just a little bit of a breeze. It is a beautiful Saturday for baseball. The Seattle Mariners and the first place Texas Rangers. Our starting lineup sponsored by Papa John's. Brandon Nimmo homered on the third pitch of last night's game. A leadoff home run. He's off to a sensational start with his new ball club. Seager, Langford, and red-hot Jake Berger. Meanwhile, near the bottom of the order, Ezekiel Duran is inserted into the lineup. Normally, it would be Josh Smith over at second base, but Duran comes off the bench and gets the start here today. Both these teams so built around starting pitching. EK, both these teams, when they meet this year, it is not a race to the bat rack. It's tough to come by and large, when these two teams get together. Don't say that to the Rangers last night, however, who ended up shutting out the Mariners in game one.
Yeah, certainly not a game that you want to play in if you're looking for offense. Both of these pitchers this evening, Uvalde and Kirby, coming in throwing the ball extremely well. Both very accomplished pitchers. Both guys that can give the other offenses a lot of trouble. As you mentioned, though, Seattle not scoring at all last night. They need to get things right, need to get that offense going.
Well, here come the Mariners taking the field in their home whites. George Kirby is up on the mound. He has been incredible in his career against the Texas Rangers, including 2 starts ago.
Yeah, he really has. You know, he's had 11 starts against this ball club, Texas Ranger organization, giving up 10 earned runs. You mentioned in his last start against this Rangers team, he gave up 3 earned runs, that's like him getting shelled. At home, though, he has had 7 starts. He's 6-0 and has given up only 1 earned run in all of those contests.
Kirby with a lot of confidence against this Rangers lineup. His second start against Texas this year already. Here's the lineup, the defense rather, behind him. Leo Rivas gets the start over at third base. Brendan Donovan, new acquisition for the Mariners, not available today, dealing with a hip injury. Had to be removed from last night's game. Up the middle, you've got Julio Rodriguez in center field, and the Platinum Glove Award winner a couple of years ago, Cal Raleigh, the runner-up for the MVP last season. Crawford and Young at short and second base. And Josh Naylor, big free agent addition after being acquired via trade last year by Seattle. So J.P. Crawford will be handling the leadoff duties. He's the longest tenured Mariner. He'll be batting leadoff with Donovan not available to start in today's game. When you look at this Texas Rangers team, it's hard to believe, but they have not won back-to-back games in this ballpark since May of 2019. Pretty remarkable. It was a completely different era of Rangers baseball. Shin-Soo Choo was one of the leadoff hitters in those 2 games to date it a little bit. Skip Schumacher, his first year as Rangers skipper, of course, former Marlins manager. There's a number of changes for the Rangers, including, it kind of feels like their overall identity, which has become such a pitching organization, especially with that new ballpark. Pitching
organization, and the offense is a bit different too, trying to get on base, and they have changed things completely with this man right here, Brandon Nimmo, leading off.
First year Texas Ranger after a decade with the Mets. Kirby into the motion, and we are underway. A shutout win last night for the Rangers. They knocked around a season high 15 hits. In first place in the West early on, and playing some good baseball recently. They've won 7 of their last 11. This is out to straightaway center field, and Julio Rodriguez drifting to his left with those sunglasses on. Couple of pitches and the first out of the ball game. It brings up the always aggressive Corey Seager. If you go back to the start of last year, the Rangers have really struggled against that pitch, the 4-seam fastball. They rank near the very bottom in baseball, both in terms of average slug, the swing and miss as well. As Kirby goes upstairs with another heater, so that'll be an interesting matchup today, and maybe explains some of Kirby's success in recent seasons against Texas.
Well, you're right. I mean, Kirby likes to stay at the top of the zone with that four-seamer. He'll throw the sinker and slider as well.
That's 3 straight heaters to Corey Seager. Corey's older brother Kyle, starring here in Seattle for so many years, the best third baseman in franchise history. Here comes a 2-2. Looks like Kirby wants a new baseball. Kirby in his last start pitching into the 8th inning against the Astros, just 2 runs. Start before that against this Rangers team. Going 8 innings that time. And he climbs the ladder on a pretty steady diet of fastballs upstairs. That time 98 miles an hour puts away Corey Seager.
But you talked about, Aaron, that elevated fastball. And this is what George does to put away Corey Seager. You know, coming into tonight's ball game, opponents 1 for 19 against that elevated fastball.
Here is young left fielder Wyatt Langford. He takes a fastball up. That's one of the things that makes Kirby difficult, right? It's not just the velocity, but the full pitch mix for him.
It's the pitch mix and the ability to locate, right? And he's all around the zone. You know he's going to throw a strike. So as a hitter, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to be aggressive. I know I'm getting a pitch to hit.
He's coming right after these Rangers hitters. A lot of fastballs early on. 1 ball and 1 strike. A pitcher in the game, at least a starting pitcher, that throws a higher rate of strikes than Kirby. He lives in the zone, and he's in the driver's seat here, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And with all the stuff he has, his arsenal, the success, you mix in this start time here this evening. Shadows are nice. Not great for hit.
His 1-2. All right, so we see the shadow is just at the front edge of the hitter's circle. When does it start to really become a problem? Or is it there already?
It's already a problem.
Okay.
It's already a problem, even if it was bright right now, just because you're facing Kirby. But very, very difficult to differentiate spin.
There's a changeup from Kirby. He had long thrown the splitter, but he really lost a feel for that pitch last year. He says he hasn't completely ditched it, still has it, has not thrown it yet. Instead has gone to the circle change. Berger would be next. 2-2. On the ground with some eyes through the right side. A nice piece of 2-strike hitting from Wyatt Langford. He shoots a fastball the other way, and the Rangers have their first base runner.
Just pitch out and away, and he gets a barrel on it coming off the bat at almost 105 miles an hour. Shoots that thing into right.
There is Jake Berger, a 6-game hitting streak. He's homered 3 times in that stretch. He has been a major run producer recently for the Rangers. And a better start to this season for Berger than it was last year. Year number 1 in Arlington. Got off to a rough start, was optioned down to AAA at one point early on last year. Had to reset a little bit. A guy who, when he came to Texas, was coming off a nearly 30-homer season with the Marlins. The 1-1.
Pitcher's favorite pitch right there. Starts as a strike, ends up as a ball. Hitter can't decide to hold up. And again, as a hitter, you're thinking, okay, he's going to throw something over the plate, so might as well swing.
Kirby with a long hold. And a weak underwater wave and a miss from Berger, chasing after that slider. A man left. Heavy lineup, only 2 righty hitters, Julio Rodriguez and Randy Arozarena. A change at the top of the lineup for manager Dan Wilson. J.P. Crawford leading off for the 3rd time this year. Brendan Donovan out of the lineup today after injuring his hip in last night's game. You know, the overall numbers this year aren't eye-popping for Eovaldi. Got up to a slow start, but his last 2 times out, he's been excellent.
Yeah, he's really righted the ship. In his last start against these Rangers, went 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts. That split finger, look for that, especially against the left-handed hitters this evening.
Now, these 2 teams met less than 2 weeks ago in Arlington, and the Rangers swept the Mariners in those 3 games. Now, the Mariners need to find a way to get some runs off of this Rangers pitching staff. You know, for so many years, it was the Rangers saying that about the Mariners pitching staff, and now the shoe's on the other foot. Mariners were shut out last night by Texas. Rangers have won all 4 games head-to-head so far this year, which is a far cry from what happened last year when Seattle went 10-3. In fact, the last 2 years, that record against the Rangers.
Well, you're talking about the Ranger dominance, and you know, you think, I don't know, historically it's going to be offense. It's been the bullpen, right? I mean, Seattle has been unable to mess around with this Texas bullpen. I think 16 innings pitched now, no extra base hits, no home runs.
This ball is just under Berger's glove, and it skims into the corner. J.P. Crawford is into second base. He's got a stand-up double. Well, the Mariners need some kind of spark, and maybe that is it at the top of the order. A little change because of injury with Crawford.
That's that splitter down and in, and you see Crawford just gets the head out. He drops it down the line, gets into that corner just by Berger. Came off the bat at 107. Berger, it didn't have time to blink.
Runner in scoring position for Cal Raleigh. Raleigh, the MVP runner-up last year, 60 home runs, the most ever by a catcher. Off to a slow start like many of these Mariner hitters this year. Now, the Mariner bats have struggled against the Rangers bullpen. They have struggled just in general against Rangers pitching. In 4 games, the Mariners have scored a grand total of 3 runs. And that double by Crawford was just their 4th extra base hit against Texas this year. Dan Wilson, a Mariners Hall of Famer, former Mariner catcher, now skipper. Ball and 2 strikes.
Well, you can understand that the Texas starting pitching, you know, there's DeGrom, there's Eovaldi, there's Leiter, there's McGore, but when you say the bullpen has shut him down, those aren't a lot of household names.
And has been one of the best bullpens in baseball, and especially when facing Seattle. It's a bullpen without an actual closer. They have been a bullpen of matchups so far early this year, so it's been a surprise to a lot of people, the success this Rangers bullpen has had, not just against the Mariners but against everyone. Only the Reds have a lower bullpen ERA, so they are leading the American League 2nd in the majors. Mariners bullpen top 10 as well. 1-2. Up and in. Not many traditional fastballs, if you can call it that, for Eovaldi. That's the cutter that he goes to more times than not when he wants a heater.
Cutter and splitter are the 2 pitches that you're going to see a lot, but you're right. The 4-seamer just has not been that effective.
Raleigh takes a splitter down and in. It is 70s weekend here in Seattle. The Cal Raleigh 70s jersey they give away today. You'll be seeing plenty of those in the crowd. I don't know how much Cal Raleigh knows about the 70s, but the jersey looks nice.
Yeah, those are some fresh unis right there.
Anytime you get powder blue going,
right,
it always works.
It was expansion team in '77.
That's right. 50-year anniversary for the Mariners this year.
Rupert Jones, I think, back in the day.
The first Mariner ever. First ever pick by Seattle. 3-2 still on Cal Raleigh. A lengthy at bat. He's had a lot of those this year. He had a 12 pitch at bat in Arlington against DeGrom, in which he homered. Rodriguez on deck. The ninth pitch put softly in play to Berger. A little flip of Eovaldi covering. Raleigh moves the runner Crawford into third.
Really an excellent at bat for a number of reasons. First of all, you made Eovaldi work with the pitch count. Really had to grind. And then, of course, getting the runner over by, it's a sacrificial at bat right there. Gives Julio an opportunity and the team an opportunity to get on the board.
That's something that Skip Schumacher was telling us about earlier today.
Yeah, he was talking about the Texas Ball Club, and one of the things that they've really bought into is the team concept offensively. The great at bat by Cal Raleigh of the Mariners right there.
Infield is in. Crawford at third. Little inside out into right field for a base hit, and Rodriguez drives home Crawford from third, and the Mariners get their first run this series against Texas. It's 1-0 Seattle.
Now Julio's got to go in and thank Cal Raleigh for this right there. This ball hit at 76 miles an hour. That's an easy, weak ground ball to the second baseman if the guys are playing back in their normal position. Instead, base hit RBI. Again, give half of that to Cal Raleigh.
That brings up Josh Naylor. Now, the Mariners had gone over 20 consecutive scoreless innings against this Rangers pitching staff, dating back to the last time these two teams met. Naylor showing bunt. It's been a slow start for the Mariners first baseman. That being said, he had a best game of the year last night. Well, it's tough to say that the best game of the year wasn't hitting 2 home runs, but he reached base 4 times in yesterday's game.
Successful evening, right?
It was a good night for Naylor on an otherwise forgetful night for the Mariners lineup. Foul. Rodriguez back to first base. Naylor came to Seattle last year at the deadline, acquired by the Mariners from Arizona. And then this offseason, when hitting free agency, signed a 5-year free agent deal to stay in Seattle. Rodriguez safe at first. And Naylor really earned that free agent deal. He had a phenomenal season last year. He hit close to 300. 20 home runs, but the big surprise, 30 stolen bases. Even Julio Rodriguez thinks that's impressive. Rodriguez last year a 30-30 campaign. Taken high, 2-2 on Naylor. Well, the Mariners making Eovaldi work here. That long at bat from Cal Raleigh, and now the next pitch will be the 20th this inning. Just 1 out. Second move over to take a look at Rodriguez at first base.
You know, Aaron, you just mentioned the next pitch will be his 20th. Watch the pitch count this evening, because again, this Texas bullpen has been taxed. Needs some length from Eovaldi.
That's a great point. If you look at that Rangers bullpen, there are potentially, and we don't know this, we're just looking at the usage, there are potentially 4 relievers down. You have Lax has worked 3 straight, multiple have worked 2 of 3, a back-to-back worked in there as well. That's thin. Strike 3 called. Naylor takes a cutter for strike 3. 2 outs.
Got him with that cutter, and his 2 out pitches, the cutter and the splitter. That's where he got the most swing and misses in his last start against these Mariners.
Here's a Rosarena. Eovaldi has really pitched well as of late. 2 starts ago against the Mariners, 2 runs over 6 innings. He's coming off a 7-inning shutout performance while striking out 7. That splitter was up, but he gets a swing and miss on it. Now Rosarena, an all-star last year. Higashioka behind home plate today. Danny Jansen getting the day off. Two outs and Rodriguez at first base. Ground ball. Backhand there, Seager, the short way over to Duran to retire the side. A man left, but a run in for the Mariners. A sight for sore eyes. And the Mariners lead at 1-0. Today's telecast is sponsored by Progressive Insurance, a grand slam for your budget. Gorgeous Saturday here in Seattle. It always looks like this. Blue skies, roof wide open. Mariners leading 1-0 as we go to the second. Jock Peterson leads things off. And looks at a strike. Year number 2 for Peterson in Arlington after signing a free agent deal. Rough start last year for Peterson.
It started off slow this year too, but the last week or so has been swinging at over 300 clip.
Two-time All-Star with the Dodgers and the Giants. He really cashed in with a 1-year deal with Arizona back in 24. He had a career year in a lot of ways. A 900 OPS. He hit over 20 home runs. And the Mariners see a lot of Jock Peterson with a fully right-handed rotation. Peterson's in there each time. Rangers have a couple of guys in this lineup, in Peterson and Evan Carter, who will bat after Young, who just don't face left-handed pitching hardly ever, which isn't much of a problem when facing the Mariners. They have just 2 lefties on their staff and none of their rotation. It's a leadoff walk. You do not see that very often from George Kirby. That was his 100th career walk. That's it. Our Wendy's pitcher profile. His numbers against the Rangers in 11 career starts.
When you break that down and talk about his home starts, he's had 7 home starts, 6 of those wins, 1 earned run.
Here was Josh Young. So that was Kirby's 100th career walk. Today is his 117th career start. That's the most starts in baseball history before reaching 100 walks, which is not all that surprising when you have followed his career. Young shoots this deep and foul.
You know what's sort of crazy, though? That's only his 7th walk this year. But of those 7 walks, 6 of them have been to left-handed hitters.
A walk to a lefty and Jock Peterson. Ball to strike to Young. Young doubled 3 times in last night's game. It was the first time in his career with 3 extra base hits. Ground ball now handled. Kirby slings low onto first, and it's not in time. They had a chance for that, but between the bobble and a low throw, double play was taken off the board.
A well executed pitch ran in on the hands of Young, and Kirby did everything he could do to not turn the double play, right? Bobble it, a low throw. Tough sometimes as a pitcher, you don't realize how hard or how slow that ball is coming back at you.
1 out, 1 on, top of the second. Rip, but foul. No, EK, this is a really wide open American League West in so many ways. The Mariners, the favorites, they've gotten off to a slow start. When you look at the Rangers, they've been headlined in so many ways by their pitching early on this year, but they have a number of young players who, if you think, well, what could they be, right? What could Young be, Carter be, Wyatt Langford? If they all take a positive step forward, or 2 or even 3, what that could do to really lift the ceiling of this ball club this year. Rivas at third makes the catch. Now, Josh Young, an all-star a couple of years ago, but has not been able to get back to that level of play since. Carter was so great as a rookie in the World Series in particular. Hasn't been close to that since. Langford's been a step forward each of his first 2 years. Some young, promising players, but also some established veterans too.
Well, you hit it right on the head. There's a lot of ifs, and if they do pan out, yes, they look like a playoff team. One of the things, though, and there isn't a single team in the American League West that's immune to it, is lack of depth. I think there isn't. Maybe Seattle has some pitching that, you know, guys get healthy, but man, that's going to be the biggest key for any of these ball clubs. And you saw this Houston ball club where the Mariners just swept them, took 4 games. I mean, in a matter of 1 week, they just got decimated.
Pitching in shambles.
Oh.
Multiple position player ILs. We'll be talking with Brian Wu right there in the bottom half of this inning. Ground ball quickly skipping through the right side for a base hit off Duran's bat. That moves Young into second base.
Diving effort, but unable to come up with it. All right, so the Rangers got a little something going here. They had a ton of opportunities last night. They ended up scoring 5 runs, but it could have been a lot worse as far as for the Mariners.
2 outs and 2 on. Kyle Higashioka, the batter, Rangers catcher. Well, he faced Kirby when these two teams last met in Arlington, and he flipped the script in that game. It was a go-ahead 2-run homer off of Kirby in Texas. He's batting with 2 outs and 2 on here. It was his first and so far only home run this season. 1-1. This is chopped up the line and foul. Well, we take you back to the 7th in Arlington. This ball just getting over the wall in left field. Kirby was excellent in that start against the Rangers. He gave up just 3 runs, 2 of them on that one swing, but it was too much allowed as the Rangers won that game. Second year in Texas for Higashioka. He's made the most of his at-bats early on this year. 1-2. It's been a lively fastball for Kirby today. A lot of 97s and 98s. Two outs and 2 on. Another 1-2.
Just seems like he has to go right now to that elevated fastball. Try and slip it by Kyle.
Does not chase after the slider, and now it's a full count. Long at bat from the number 9 hitter for the Rangers. Top of the order next, Nimmo.
You just got to challenge him right here. You don't want anything to do with Nimmo and the bases loaded.
Pitch number 8. He goes right after him, does exactly that. 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Kirby gets the strikeout and strands 2. Mariners take a 1-0 lead to the bottom of the 2nd as Luke Raley leads it off against Nathan Eovaldi. We take you down inside the home dugout at T-Mobile Park, and we say hello to Mariners starting pitcher Brian Wu. Brian, how you doing, man?
Good. How you guys doing?
Hey, we've spent a lot of time already talking about these 2 rotations when the Mariners and the Rangers get together. Eovaldi, as accomplished of a guy as you can find on the mound. Obviously, your teammate George Kirby. When you're watching a Mariners-Rangers game, do you allow yourself to watch and enjoy both sides of these starting pitching matchups? Because they've been elite every time you guys have met up this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think just as a fan of the game, you try to watch as many guys as you can. And especially when you have a treat of watching, you know, the staffs out here. And pregame, I try to go out and I try to sneak a look at their guys and what they do, like during catch play and, you know, how they play catch. They're doing anything specific or weird or different, or you know, just trying to pick up on little things. So it's always fun to watch, you know, watch all their guys. Eovaldi I love to watch. Obviously DeGrom's you know, been doing what DeGrom's done for a long time. They got a lot of good young arms in Leiter and Rocker, and yeah, so it's a treat either way.
All right, so you're giving love to the opposing team, but tell me, who is a guy that you like to watch in this league that you just say, this dude is just sick to watch as a pitcher?
My favorite for a while has been Zach Wheeler.
Okay.
Yeah, he does a lot of things. We do a lot of things similarly. The way that we move and his stuff, very similar repertoires. He's got a couple of other pitches that I don't throw, but yeah, I just love the way that he competes. I really appreciate like consistency over long periods of time, and you know, he's been doing it for as long and you know, as high a level as anybody. So he's one guy that I really appreciate.
When did you realize, or when did your stuff really start to develop? I mean, and I'm referencing this, I used to see you pitch at Cal Poly Slow, you and Brooks Lee, and way back in the day. And would I have said back then, yeah, you're going to be an elite pitcher in the big leagues? Probably wouldn't have gone out. I probably wouldn't have said that.
Probably not.
But what for you was the changing point or the moment?
I don't know. I think, yeah, like you said, in college, it wasn't looking too hot there for a minute. You know, I was starting to think about what other career paths were going to be possible for me. But once I got drafted to the Mariners, and they bring you in and they kind of, you know, give you, you get in and you do like a player plan meeting about what are the things that you do well and what are the areas that you can kind of grow in. And they just instilled a lot of confidence in myself and, you know, the stuff that I had and how I could get better, and, you know, show you kind of a different perspective on pitching and development and all those type of things. So yeah, I got to give a lot of credit to a lot of the pitching minds and staff that we have here, Woody and Trent and everybody. They do such a good job with us, you know, each day. So we owe a lot of our success to them.
That was a 10-pitch AB for Rayleigh. Grounds out for 1 out. All right, I got to follow up on that, Brian. How serious are you being that when you were in college you were really thinking about a career outside of baseball? Was this something that you really started to explore a little bit? Obviously you had a wish and a dream of pitching to the big leagues and being a pro, but was this something you were really thinking you might have to make more of a reality, having a career outside of baseball?
Early on, yeah. Freshman year, sophomore year, pre-COVID. I mean, I had, you know, some success here and there, but nothing that seemed like it was going to be like I was going to do this for a long time. I wasn't exactly the best student academically either, so yeah, a lot of different ideas were going through my head, but thankfully it worked out.
Well, there are Ranger fans who are listening to you today and they're saying, why in the world can't the Rangers hit this guy's fastball? He throws the fastball all the time. Why can't anybody square it up? Speaking of, Canzone strikes out on a heater. Well, what do you think is the secret sauce to your fastball? And you have 2 of them.
Yeah, I think really that's probably the answer. Is there's 2 of them. I think the 4-seam, I mean, I don't know. I just kind of grip it and rip it, and, you know, whatever Cal and Garv give me is what I'm doing. I feel like, you know, analytically it's not super special, you know, besides the what call? Besides the approach angle I know about, but like I don't spin the ball like crazy, and you know, a lot of my numbers don't jump off the page at you, but I don't know. It could be a number of different things. I think maybe a part of it is also just my mindset with it, that don't shy away from going at guys with it. You know, there's no secrets to what I'm trying to do, but just staying consistent with it, and yeah, it's worked out so far.
This is Leo Rivas after a base hit with 2 outs from Cole Young.
Brian, I asked you earlier about pitcher that you would emulate or like to watch. Who's a hitter, not necessarily that you don't want to face, but you just go, man, that guy is tough to attack?
I mean, there's a lot of them in this league. I think honestly the guys, not specific hitters, but just in general guys that, you know, they're not one-trick ponies, so to speak. They kind of can do a bunch of different things that can get you a bunch of different ways. You know, they're not just trying to hit the homer, but they'll go to battle with you and have long at bats. They'll fight off good pitches. They'll hit your mistakes, and I think that's the hardest part about being in the big leagues is, you know, you have a lot of really good players that are good at a number of different things, but the guys that you know, can get you in different ways, and it's never the same battle, so to speak, when you go up there. You can do your scouting reports and go at guys one way, and then one game or one at bat later, you know, it's a whole different battle. So you know, you got to do your homework and you got to know what you're getting yourself into, but I mean, there's a lot of them.
So you're playing MLB The Show. You got a guy on second base. You've got to drive him in, and he's not a Seattle Mariner. Who do you have at the plate?
In today's game or all time?
In today's game.
Today's game.
I was just trying to. I just said MLB. I was just trying to pinpoint you to make you give me an answer.
Yeah. I mean, there's a number of them. I think number 17 in LA ain't too bad.
That's an issue.
Yeah, he's not too bad. Yeah, 99 in New York ain't too bad either. I don't know. There's a lot of them, but those two are pretty special, fun to watch, especially Shohei doing what he's doing on both sides of the ball, man. It's exciting and it's good for baseball, and I think everybody, even in the league now, can agree. Like we watch a lot of his games just as fans and just in awe of what he's doing.
No doubt. Hey, Brian, we know Julio's run out of seats, so we'll let you get going. But we appreciate you hanging out for a little bit, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, appreciate it.
That is Mariners starting pitcher Brian Wu. You watched him in college before he was Brian Wu.
No, he was still Brian Wu, but he wasn't throwing like this.
This is served softly. Langford straightaway left, comes in chest high to make the squeeze. Some long at bats there by the Mariners, but nothing to show for it. After 2, 1-0 Seattle.
Hosting friends for the next game? Just tell Siri. Add hot dogs to my grocery list.
George Kirby up on the mound pitching with a 1-0 lead facing the top of the order. First pitch strike to Brandon Nimmo.
These Rangers have made Kirby work a little bit. 42 pitches so far early on. He averages about 13, 14 an inning.
Hard to find a manager have much higher praise for a player than what Skip Schumacher had for his new right fielder in Brandon Nimmo. Both as a player, a game planner, and as a person in the clubhouse. This is over towards third. Rivas with a quick throw, and there is out number 1. He really made it clear all of the intangibles that Nimmo brings to this team.
Yeah, it's one thing to check one of those boxes. You know, maybe the guy's a great offensive player, or maybe, you know, he's a team guy, or as you mentioned, you know, good in the clubhouse or good at game planning. But he does all of them, and on top of that, he leads off, which is a space that the Rangers really needed to improve.
Seager fouls it away. Yeah, some of the praise that he was giving Nimmo about being really an elite level game planner and how involved he is with the daily hitter meetings about the opposing starting pitcher. I haven't heard that kind of praise put on many players before, but that is clearly something to have. What almost sounded like a hitting coach, but you know, an active member of the team, because obviously you listen more to a teammate than anyone else, right?
Well, that's the thing is that he fills so many roles, and whether it's the raw guy that pumps you all up and always has something good to say, whether it's the teacher, whether it's a guy going out there and producing. And again, it's like I said, he just checks so many boxes.
You can score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, we've got the season covered. Scan the QR code or visit MLBshop.com, the official source for your favorite team gear. 2 routine ground ball outs, 2 up and 2 down. Here's Wyatt Langford. That took a piece out of Cal Raleigh behind the plate as he crumples down to his knees. And so this right here is what so many people in Seattle were using as a great argument for how impressive his season was last year, right? 60 home runs, playing every day, and taking the bruise and the battering that comes along with putting that gear on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, the argument for him winning MVP, I was right on it. I thought that he should have won the MVP last year. And the reason for it, and maybe I'm biased, but I played in my career alongside a great hitting catcher, Mike Piazza. And, you know, forget the offensive part, the amount of work, the amount of effort, the wear and tear that a catcher goes through is insane. And for him to go out and do what he did offensively on top of that, that's why I thought he was the MVP.
It was an incredible season. Langford is out, and a quick inning for Kirby. 3 ground ball outs. Mariners are leading after a first inning Julio Rodriguez RBI single. Top of the order here. J.P. Crawford leading things off. Crawford got that going with a double.
The ball call. What? Ball's a strike.
ABS powered by T-Mobile. So that goes the Rangers' way. Nothing in 2 instead of 1-1 on Crawford. Crawford, the longest tenured Mariner, his 8th year in Seattle. Mariners happy to have him healthy again. He opened the season on the injured list because of a shoulder. Former Gold Glove winner. Lifts this out to Langford in left field. He camps underneath it. Saturday night is baseball night on Fox, and next week is Showtime. We've got PCA and the Cubs versus Shohei Ohtani and the reigning champion Dodgers. Or it's Tigers and Reds. Baseball night in America next Saturday, 7 Eastern, only on Fox. And maybe Brian will be watching. Here is Cal Raleigh. Out to right field. On the warning track. In front of the wall. Nimmo is there. The ballpark holds it. And allowed out number 2.
You mentioned just off the end of the bat, he had a great at-bat in his last time up, really the at-bat of the inning. 10 pitcher ended up moving the runner from second to third, and then Julio Rodriguez able to drive him in.
This is out towards the alleyway in left center field. Langford had a head start shaded that way. He calls off Carter, his center fielder, and he makes the catch.
Dude Wipes for the best clean, pants down.
Today's telecast is sponsored by Freestyle Libre. And take you back to last October. Game 5. An extra inning thriller. Jorge Polanco winning it. And the Mariners advancing to face the Blue Jays in the American League Championship Series. Mariners finished 8 outs shy of what would have been their first ever World Series appearance. Berger in play. Young. A little bit of range, a 360 spin, 1 pitch and 1 away. And both these starting pitchers had to grind a little bit through 2 innings, and both had a very quick third.
Yeah, much more pitch efficient. Hitters being a bit more aggressive. We've lost the shadows. Nothing going on right now. It's some good hitting weather.
Did Jock Peterson call time before?
I think he did.
Before seeing a pitch? Was that that 1 pitch, 1 out, sneak up on him a little bit maybe?
It's exactly what happened, right? You know, he wasn't ready, and you know that clock is going, and better to use your timeout than be 0-1. Oof.
0-2 now.
Movement on that pitch was crazy.
On a 1-2. Well, he was late on 97, and it works out for Jock Peterson. A single into left. He reaches for the second time.
Just let that thing travel. It was up and out over the plate. See how far back in the zone Jouk hit that. Because of the way the defense was set, had all kinds of room.
Here's Josh Young. We were talking earlier about Young and a breakout season he had back in 23. He started third base in the All-Star game for the American League. The All-Star game was played right here at T-Mobile Park that year. That remains his best season. He missed most of the following year with a fractured right wrist. He's dealt with a variety of injuries over the course of his pro career, even before debuting. Former 8th overall pick, born in San Antonio, went to Texas Tech, and now playing for the Texas Rangers. Ground ball, it hits off of Kirby's backside. Karams Rivas bare hand has no play. I think there's more frustration on Kirby's face about the fact that didn't get turned into an out than the fact that it hit him on the backside.
That thing could have very easily been an ending double play, and you see Kirby turned around completely, hits him on the backside, and just nowhere to go after that.
Now this has been a kind of interesting development for Kirby. It's so early in the season. This is only his 5th start, so is this really a thing, or is it just small sample size theater? But he comes into today, EK, with the 3rd highest ground ball rate in baseball, which is not something that he has been known for. And if you look at the last 6 batters, it's all been on the ground.
What makes it interesting too, though, is you're talking about him inducing ground balls. He lives at the top of the zone, you know, that elevated fastball. You know, it's great to get the ground balls. It's just you don't want them to be hard hit. What's interesting now, though, you know, Dan Wilson coming out, taking a look and making sure everything's okay. But you got runners on 1st and 2nd, runners in scoring position. Now, again, it's early. But so far this year, 4 for 9 against him. But last year, hitters hit .309 with runners in scoring position against him. And that was a huge uptick from the prior year, where hitters only hit .244.
Ball 1 to Evan Carter. Carter, a good runner and a left-handed hitter, not an easy guy to double up. Just low. Carter gets ahead 2-1. Ties him up. Back foot slider.
That was filthy right there, and he's been living on the glove side with that slider. We saw him throw one to Berger earlier in the game, ended up striking him out, but much the same type of pitch. Good against righties and lefties.
Kirby on a 2-2. This is slicing down the line, foul into the crowd. Carter still just 23 years old. Last year he played in a career high 63 games. Started the year in AAA. He was on the injured list 3 times last year. 3 different issues. Able to work the count full. He's had some struggles since that Incredible World Series run from the Rangers when he made his major league debut in September, but the Rangers are hoping that he is fully healthy and can be an everyday contributor, or at least when there's a righty on the mound. Check swing foul. Former top 5 overall prospect. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat to Evan Carter. And here it comes. Ripped down the line and foul. Carter was terrific when he debuted in September of 23, and he carried that right into the postseason. He hit 300, OPS to over 900 in October. It was remarkable. Ball 4. But a challenge coming.
Catcher's challenging the ball call.
And it is low.
Call's confirmed. Seattle has 1 challenge remaining.
Cal Raleigh losing that challenge, so a single and infield base hit that hit off of Kirby, and now a walk to Carter.
Yeah, a situation, a great time to challenge, but obviously that was much further away than Cal thought.
Carter's drawn his fair share of walks this year, and a timely one here. Duran, a base hit his last time up. He has been so good against Kirby in his career. 9 for 17. Bases loaded, 1 out. I mean, if somebody were to ask you which major league hitter has the most hits against George Kirby, you would not guess Ezekiel Duran.
No.
But that's the answer to the question. One and 2. So maybe exactly the guy the Rangers want at the plate right now. Bases loaded, 1 out, but Kirby ahead. Kirby's 1-2. Just off the plate. Kirby wants to challenge this.
Pitcher's challenging the ball call.
This is Kirby's 2nd challenge this year. You don't see pitchers challenge that much, and the Mariners are now out of challenges.
Confirmed. Seattle has no more challenges.
Maybe a little emotional call there from Kirby.
You know, certainly emotional because the previous pitch he thought he had it. Cal had challenged earlier, didn't get it.
Bases loaded, 3-2. Here it comes. Young gives way. Rodriguez comes in very shallow, and everybody has to stay put. I mean, you knew you were getting a fastball right there, don't you? No one hates walking batters more than Kirby, and especially with the bases loaded. Pete Woodworth, Mariners pitching coach, coming out. Give Kirby a bit of a breather. Next pitch will be number 75. Trying to get out of a bases loaded jam. Kirby has never walked a batter with the bases loaded, and he wasn't about to right there.
Well, again, a great visit, not so much just to get him rest, but just to try and get the mind right, get him in a good frame of mind. Again, as you mentioned, probably emotional, that last challenge. And that's something to watch for now. As you mentioned, Mariners done with challenges.
Early, just the fourth inning. Two outs, bags packed. Here is Higashioka. Peterson at third, Young the runner at second base, and Carter, who walked at first. Two outs, runners all around. Rangers threatening to take the lead. Kirby's 2-0. Popped him up. Shallow left center. Rodriguez waiting, and Kirby gets out of a bases loaded jam. The Mariners maintain a narrow 1-0 lead.
Never even happened.
Mariners lead at 1-0 going to the bottom of the fourth inning. We might have a Josh Naylor issue. Now Naylor is due to lead off, and maybe he's got something going on with his eye. Something about his left eye. Maybe needs some drops. And he was not on deck. Needs to clean the windshield off a little bit for a moment. I would imagine that being able to see clearly would probably be of a high priority for a man in his line of work.
It's a bit of a necessity.
I'll take home a piece of the game. Bid on game used jerseys, baseballs, bases, and more at auctions.mlb.com. Looks like he's ready to go. Eovaldi threw just 6 pitches to retire the side in order in the third. Got him back on track a little bit with his pitch count. This is over the mound. Seager. Plenty of time to first base. 2 pitches and 1 away. Go back to that second inning. He had an 8-pitch at bat to Rivas. He had a 10-pitch at bat to Luke Raley. That really put a dent in his pitch count, but since the start of the third, he's been in cruise control.
I mean, even though you go back to that first inning, it was 25-pitch first inning. And you talk about Raleigh had that 9-pitch at bat, and then you mentioned Raley the 10. I mean,
now Rosarena dumps a little water balloon into shallow right field. He has really been getting on base this year. It's been an impressive start. Maybe not all the power you would expect with Randy Rosarena, but he's now reached base in 18 of 22 games.
Yeah, certainly take that. 61 miles an hour off the bat. Just found some grass, and you know, it just is. It's interesting to watch. You know, some guys get jammed, finding base hits, broken bats. Other guys hitting rockets, but it all evens out. Allegedly.
I've never heard it. I've never heard a player actually say that.
Was sarcasm.
That makes more sense then. Strike one to Raley. Raley on the ground. Duran. Wide throw into left field. Rosarena is into third, and Raley to second. A rare blunder defensively for the Rangers. Duran getting the start today at second instead of Josh Smith.
Makes a good turn, but just kind of slings it. Doesn't have any momentum with his body or his throat going towards second base. Just flips that left foot around. The right arm just kind of flies out open, and then that ball ends up in left field.
Now, the Rangers last year won the Team Gold Glove Award for the first time in franchise history. Infield in, Canzone at the plate. All right, it's an offense that's been starving for runs, especially against the Rangers. You've got one out, second and third. You have to cash in here.
If you're Canzone, you're just looking for something up in the zone. Just look for something up in the zone.
A throw to third base. Don't see that every day.
And I get you'd love to pull the ball and move the runner over to third, score on a wild pitch or something, but I'm just getting the ball in the air.
It's a hard hit grounder into center field, base hit. Rosarena scores. Raley steaming home to the plate, safe. Canzone drives in two. And the Mariners start to open it up just a little bit here in the fourth. It's a 3-0 Seattle lead.
This pitch is up in the zone, and it's a four-seam fastball. It's not one of Eovaldi's effective pitches, and Canzone shoots it up the middle. Remember, Canzone in his last at-bat, 3 pitches, struck out, was down 0-1. This one right here, Eovaldi did him a favor, and Canzone cashed in.
Young backs away from ball one. Well, that error really coming back to sting the Rangers right away. They have matched, the Mariners that is, their total run production against the Rangers this year. Mariners had scored 3 runs against Texas in the first 4 games head-to-head this season. (3-0) to Cole Young, former first-round draft pick by Seattle, made his major league debut last May. Now the everyday second baseman for the Mariners. Three balls and a strike. Young draws a walk. So 4 straight have reached. After that really quick third inning, this will now be the 6th batter for Eovaldi to face in the 4th.
6th batter, but they really just haven't been long at bats. Only 12 pitches so far this inning.
It is a thin bullpen for the Rangers. It's a long road trip for Texas. 3 series, West Coast swing. Dodgers, Athletics for 4. One of those games went extra innings. And now Seattle for 3.
But he made a good point, Skip did, about, playing the Dodgers. That series will have residual effects, and it just, because your bullpen, your pitching staff is going to get taxed, just because that lineup, forget being powerful, but it's so patient, makes you grind, and then you're just playing game after game afterwards, and that's where you feel the effects.
1 out, 2 on for the number 9 hitter for the Mariners, Leo Rivas. Berger has it. Long throw to second, and that's all they'll get. Canzone into third. Runners in the corners. 2 outs. Back at the top of the order. Here's J.P. Crawford for the 3rd time. Normally it would be Brendan Donovan batting leadoff for the Mariners, but injured. Had to leave last night's game because of a hip issue. So Crawford, who has spent a lot of time in his career, I should say, batting leadoff for the Mariners, back up in that role for the 3rd time this season. Now, Crawford for so many years was the top prospect in the Phillies farm system. He made his major league debut with Philadelphia. His big league career did not get off to a good start out on the East Coast. Was acquired via trade by the Mariners and has now been an absolute mainstay in Seattle. It's this hard. A one-hopper. Duran has it deep in the hole at second. A wide throw. Berger able to corral it. A couple of men are left, but 2 come in for the Mariners. They extend the lead through 4. Dual action sponsored by Roundup. Starting pitchers through 4. Eovaldi's given up 3 runs, only 1 earned. Kirby so far 4 scoreless as he faces the top of the order for the 3rd time through. Here is Brandon Nimmo. Young has it, cut of the grass. 1 pitch and 1 away. Now this series features a number of players who are amongst the most aggressive, swinging at the very first pitch. Seager historically has been one of those guys, lesser in recent years. But Josh Naylor is in the top 10. Jake Berger is right there as well. Cal Raleigh has been very aggressive this year. Did you like being aggressive, that aggressive on the very first pitch?
So my first at bat, you see this ball heading in foul territory, and
Rivas has it.
It would just depend on the situation, but my first at bat, I always took the first pitch. I always would take a strike. I would always, my first at bat, say you go back again, I'm not comparing myself to Ted Williams, but that was Ted Williams here. He wanted to gather as much information. So I'd always do that. But later on in the game, I wasn't married to one way or the other. I mean, again, some of these guys are like, again, Corey Seager throughout his career, I'm swinging.
Now, would you auto take first at bat, even if it was a pitcher that you'd seen a lot?
Auto take.
Really?
Yeah. Now, if there were runners on, and then maybe not. But yeah, you know who else used to do it? The guy that hit ahead of me, Piazza. Auto take.
Is that where you got it from?
No, I told you I got it from Ted Williams' book. Honest to God.
I guess you both have a similar library. 1 ball and 1 strike to Wyatt Langford. This is tiptoeing the line fair inside the bag or right over the top of it. Hits off the short wall, and Langford's speed is aboard at second. A 2-out double. His second hit today.
This thing just backed up on Kirby. Langford gets the head out, shoots it down the line. Just staying fair.
Rangers have had traffic almost every inning so far today. Yet to cash in. Here is Berger. He pops this up on the infield. Crawford Mariners shortstop there. And the double is stranded. 5 scoreless from George Kirby today. Mariners lead it 3-0 over the Rangers. Bottom of the 5th. Rangers winning last night in game 1. Eovaldi a couple of unearned runs in the 4th. Yeah, pretty wild about Cal Raleigh. Off to a slow start this year. A couple of home runs, one against the Rangers. He has the highest fly ball rate in baseball this year, which is nothing new for him. He led the majors in that last year as well. Of course, he had 60 homers. As he swings out of his shoes on this pitch. You know, the wild thing is he's just not hitting home runs despite hitting the ball in the air over 60% of the time. He just is simply not hitting the ball as hard as he did last year and, quite frankly, in years past.
You know, I think there's a number of things that go into that. Last year, obviously, an historical year, but also very taxing. Talk about, well, he'd get days off, he DHs. That's not a day off. And then you also take the WBC and that experience this year. And I think, you know, a lot of guys, position players, you know, they just haven't got off to that hot start that played in that.
This would be a pretty perfect example. Softly hit fly ball, and Carter is there. 1 away. Our big move sponsored by Pods. You know, the Mariners known so much for hitting him over the fence, but how about in the first inning? It was a Crawford double. He moved over on a ground ball out, and then Rodriguez drove him home, and then Raley put the ball in play. A wild throw, an errant throw by Duran. That put 2 aboard in scoring position, and Canzone cashed in with the 2-run base hit. And the Mariners happy to see 3 runs on the board after being shut out last night. Rodriguez at the plate, 0-1. You know, getting back to Raleigh for a second as this ball's cued foul. I think we would probably both agree that there's a track record there that makes you think he will be hitting the ball harder this year, but it's just it's been the start for maybe the 2 of the reasons that you brought up, that's why he's come out of the gates this way.
I think so, and I think also too, you know, we've got to be realistic as far as what are the expectations for Cal Raleigh this year. And you know, we were talking prior to the show. I'm thinking, you know, if you hit 30 home runs, I think that's great. That's an excellent year. And you jokingly said 40, right? And so everybody's, I'm sure the closer you are to this organization, fans, they want 50 or 60.
One hopper right back to the mound. Eovaldi lobs to first. 2 away.
And it goes back to last year, and you know why do I think he was the MVP? It's not Aaron Judge had an historical year, but what Cal Raleigh did as a catcher, it's never been done in the game. Not even close. Like, and so that's why I felt like he deserved the award. You know, now matching up with Judge, but in an historical context, he was my guy.
His home runs have gone from 27 to 30 to 34, and then last year 60.
60 as a switch hitter, as a catcher. I mean, he was, not that he gives a you know what, but he was my MVP.
Berger has it tick off his glove, and Naylor reaches. Infield base hit for for Josh Naylor.
Hey, and Josh will take anything he can get right now. I mean, again, he's another one. He just has not been able to get anything going in this early part of the year. You're just trying to keep your head above water. And thank Jake Berger right there over at first while you're there.
2-out base runner for Seattle. Here's Arozarena. Eovaldi working the pitch calm on his right hip. It's a 6-pitch mix. If you're his catcher, you might like a little input there. I'll have to choose from. Eovaldi ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. Eovaldi's been so good for so long, now 36 years old, his 4th year in Texas. There's a native Texan from Alvin, Texas, went to the same high school as Nolan Ryan. Had a sensational season last year, but unfortunately cut short because of injury. Was on the injured list twice, first early on in the year because of a tricep issue, and then rotator cuff injury ended his season prematurely. But a 1.73 ERA in just over 20 starts last year for Eovaldi. He was spectacular, and a big reason why the Rangers had the lowest ERA for the first time in franchise history.
Two-time Tommy John, right? And you know, it originally came up with the Dodgers, and then the last Tommy John impacted the 16 and 17 season. And you know, when he came back, he has been a much better pitcher since then.
Well, he gets a swing and a miss on that Nathan Eovaldi splitter that he's known so well for against Arozarena.
Better at Wendy's.
Nice Saturday crowd inside T-Mobile Park. Mariners leading the Rangers 3-0, top of the 6th. Jock Peterson begins things for the Rangers. He's been aboard twice today.
Nice 7-pitch inning for Kirby in that 5th.
Two-0. There are two things, I should say. There's one thing that these two organizations, as the bullpen is up for Seattle, Matt Brash, are really keyed in on. One of which we talked to Skip Schumacher about, and that is the idea of getting ahead and throwing a first pitch strike. It's been a calling card of the Mariners for years now, and Skip Schumacher could not champion that idea anymore when we talked to him today.
Well, it was especially apparent when he was talking about his bullpen.
Yes.
You know, why are they so effective? Because if you look down in that bullpen, it's not a ton of nitro down there as far as big arms.
Backdoor slider gets Peterson for the first time. A rare strikeout today for the Rangers.
Going with that slider right there, and right by Jock. But getting back to that, strike one just changes the whole complexion of the at bat. And if you're able to land that, and especially if you can land that with some off speed, because usually a hitter's not going to be aggressive on a first pitch on an off speed. You know, you're 0-1, and then the at bat is yours. You know, you can dictate from there as a pitcher.
1 ball and 1 strike to Young. Infield base hit for the Rangers third baseman, his last at bat. Slugged out to center. Rodriguez showing his numbers, chasing after this. He is at the wall, and it's over the fence. Josh Young, a deep drive out to center field, his second home run this year, and it puts Texas on the board. 3-1 Mariners in the 6th inning.
He's on a little extra base hit bender right now. The 3 doubles last night, and this pitch elevated up in the zone, and he just level swing right through that 106 off the bat, 412 feet. Julio wasn't bringing that one back.
Strike one to Evan Carter. An impressive series so far for Young. And a rare run allowed by Kirby to the Rangers, especially in this ballpark.
Just doubled his earned run output, right? 7 starts. This was his 8th. Had given up only 1 earned run prior to today.
Strikeout to Carter, 2 away. Well, Play Ball is baseball's global youth initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play our great game. To learn more, including how to find a league near you, you can scan the QR code or go to playball.org and follow @playball on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Shot by Duran. He just sees Kirby better than anybody. 2 for 3 against Kirby today. Matt Brash is warming. Top of the order is looming. Tying run comes to the plate, and Dan Wilson is going to the pen. He's made the call for Brash. Kirby, another stellar start against Texas, but has to exit before a full 6. NASCAR is back on Fox, and we're headed to the heartland as NASCAR's best go full throttle in Kansas. Our pre-race coverage begins 1 Eastern with the green flag dropping at 2. It's the Advent Health 400 tomorrow on Fox. Matt Brash facing Higashioka. Tying run at the plate for the Rangers, and Brash a first pitch strike. Kirby 5 2/3. The only run, that home run to Young, but responsible for Duran at first base.
Brash, a slider sinker guy, mixing a change every once in a while, but almost 60% sliders.
Returned last year from Tommy John. And that slider fouled back off Cal Raleigh. 1 2. Well, the Rangers no doubt see it as a victory to get Kirby out before a full 6 innings is complete, the way he's pitched against them in his career. 1 2. It's a full count to Higashioka. Top of the order is next. Two outs. Duran at first as Brash steps off. Ground ball finds J.P. Crawford. He gathers and whips a toss over to first base. Higashioka retired and a man left. Just the 1 run. Josh Young. 3 doubles yesterday and a dead central homer in the 6th to get Texas on the board. Josh Young's home run to center field has gotten the Rangers within 2. And knocked Kirby out of the game, or helped to do that. Luke Raley leading things off. Evaldi out there, approaching 90 pitches. Raley comes into today 11 for his last 21. His 4 home runs this year matches his total from a season ago. He missed so much of last year because of an oblique issue. Cal Quantrill just recently called up by the Rangers. Warming up inside the Texas bullpen as the pitch count starting to get up there a little bit for Eovaldi. And some frustration on Eovaldi's face as he throws that splitter in the dirt. High fly ball, way back. How far? How high? Gone! A moonshot home run, Luke Raley. And the Mariners get that run right back. Some hang time.
Just splitters and cutters, and threw a cutter right there, and Raley did not miss and called it. How high?
Canzone on that cutter, but fouls it back.
And that thing almost felt like it went higher than it did far. He knew it.
Now, Raley is one of the very few hitters to ever homer to the upper deck in right field here at T-Mobile Park. There have been fewer than 10 all time. Ballpark that opened up midway through the 1999 season. The first to ever do it was Mo Vaughn, by the way.
I believe it. Big Mo.
Bouncing quickly through the left side. Canzone a multi-hit day.
Canzone has Eovaldi figured out after that first at bat. He saw 3 pitches right back to the dugout, but since then 2 for 2, and again the big 2 RBI hit.
Skip Schumacher's making the call. Quantrill is ready to go. The Mariners chase Eovaldi in the 6th. Eovaldi going 5+. Oh, and 2 after that's bunted back foul.
Quantrill, a lot of hard stuff. Not trying to trick you. Sinker, cutter, four-seamer will throw the occasional split, but usually going to run it up there.
Young out of the Pittsburgh area, grew up a Pirates fan and a huge fan of that guy. Former National League MVP Andrew McCutchen now with the Rangers. Young's had a chance to work out in the Pittsburgh area last couple of off seasons at the same time as McCutchen. Big thrill for him. Two balls and 2 strikes. Canzone at first, nobody out. Does not go. Young has been aboard twice, a single and a walk. Swings through that fastball running away from him. One away. High Speed sponsored by AT&T. Back to the Luke Raley home run. That, man, it was up there.
I mean, it really was. Just watching it here from the booth, it was majestic, just so high. Ball was in the air for 6.7 seconds. So you got to go way back. Maybe Seattle. No, the Ray Guy punts.
Yeah, I saw you.
Oakland Raiders back in the day.
I've always wondered why you kept the stopwatch out, but now I know. You timed that perfectly. There's only been one home run with better hang time this year. That was Matt Chapman by 1/10 of a second. Did you do that game too?
Getting cute here.
I like the hang time home run number. Keeping an eye on Canzone. Rivas goes around. Strike 3 called. Rivas caught looking. Quantrill a couple of punch outs. There was J.P. Crawford. Both starting pitchers chased in the 6th inning today. Only run for the Rangers, the Young home run. Crawford calling for time as the count goes to 1-2. Mariners will start to use their leverage arms once we get to the 7th. Meanwhile, the Rangers just trying to keep this one close and give their offense a chance to get back in this as Higashioka wants to challenge.
Catcher's challenge in the ball call.
And it just clips the corner.
It's a strike.
Quantrill strikes out all 3 that he faces. Inside T-Mobile Park, a somewhat new Seattle tradition. And there's a hot dog in that bag with a ketchup and a mustard pack, depending on your taste. Spire is on the mound. Nimmo fouls it away. It's amazing what mankind is capable of. Engineering a parachute for a hot dog.
I thought you were talking about the hot dog. Engineering a hot dog. Like, what is a hot dog?
Well, some questions are better left unanswered. Nothing in 2. Yeah, so this was during the break. We had the honor of delivering hot dogs from heaven. They don't go very far. It's a well-engineered parachute. And that one especially.
It's just How long have they been doing that here? The hot dog toss.
Say a few years.
Okay.
Nimmo swings and misses. Fastball to 95. Nimmo retired. A couple of lefties at the top of the order for Spire. MLB Plus is new for 2026. Stream MLB Network 24/7 in the U.S. and select out-of-market games every week, plus live radio broadcasts of every game. Game Day 3D, big inning and minor league action. MLB.com/MLB Plus to subscribe. For 3 today, Corey Seager.
It was funny, we were talking to Skip Schumacher about the Rangers' offensive philosophy, and we noticed that he's sacrificing, he's bunting guys over, making things happen, team baseball. And he said, look, at anybody bunts on our team except for one guy. That's his man at the plate, just because of the damage that he can do. But it was interesting, just because that is a, oh, don't bunt, don't do this, and that's, the analytics, and he says that it's not an old school approach. I like to prefer to call it a team approach to offense, and whether that's getting guys over or sacrificing, or and with pitching so difficult to hit these days, I think it makes more sense than ever. If you can get that one run, you got to make it happen.
Seager, one of the great slugging shortstops in baseball history. Schumacher had an interesting point. He said, I'm not going to ask Corey Seager to bunt, but there will be at bats where I need him to move a runner, and I don't care how he does it. He can ground one to the right side of the infield. You don't have to bunt, but there's going to be a handful of at-bats every year that for everybody, Seager included, where I need you to have a team at-bat right now.
Well, he made mention, and this was really interesting. He had said, that he had talked to a manager that made the comment that, okay, player X gets 550 at-bats a year. 500 of those at-bats are his, but 50 of those are mine. Meaning, those are going to be the team at bats. Get them over. We saw Cal Raleigh earlier in this ball game, a team at bat. 9 pitches, runner on second base, nobody out, gets him over. Julio Rodriguez, what would have been a weak one hopper to the second baseman, hit 70 miles an hour. Instead, infield in, it's a base hit.
Well, this is turning out to be a long at bat. It will be at least 10 pitches. And a walk. Nice AB there from Seager. Pitch walk. One out, one on. Here's Wyatt Langford.
Langford, a couple of hits, had that double right down the line in his last at bat. Unable to plate him.
Rangers got a little bit of a scare on this road trip with Langford. When he hit his first home run of the season in LA, he felt his leg tighten up a little bit and had to exit the game. Missed a couple of games, a minor quad injury. That was last Friday. He's all right now. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bizzardo getting loose in the Seattle bullpen. Shallow right field. Raley comes in and he puts it away. 2 outs. Seager has to stay put after that lengthy at bat that ended in a walk. Hot hitting Jake Berger at the plate. 0 for 3 today. 6-game hitting streak. He's driven in a run in 5 straight. In fact, 10 RBIs in that 5-game stretch. Rangers cleanup hitter. Whips on a breaking ball from Spire. Spire, part of the WBC Team USA roster this year.
Spire working both sides of the plate, but Berger very disciplined, not offering it anything. He's got himself into a hitter's count, can really just sit on a thing.
3-1. Surprised?
I think he's looking for one on an edge again, I guess, right? It's
that was right over the plate. 2 outs, a man on. And he walked him. A couple of walks from Spire. And the Rangers now bring the tying run to the plate. And it will be a former Mariner. Jack Peterson does not face many lefties, and especially in this situation. Sam Haggerty, switch hitter. He bats for Peterson. Bizzardo is warmed up and ready to go. Dan Wilson's made the call. We've got a pitching change. Dan Wilson goes to his bullpen. Edward Bizzardo takes over for Gabe Spire. And he is now facing the tying run at the plate. And they do a switch again. Josh Smith is batting. Smith, the normal second baseman, getting today off. They burn Haggerty to bring Smith in here.
sinker sweeper from Bizzardo. About 65% that sinker against lefties, real tough. It's almost like that one you throw at the front hip and let it back. Well, it gets way over the plate.
Two one. 3 balls and a strike. Things getting interesting here in the 7th inning. Josh Smith draws a walk. 4 walks by, pardon me, 3 walks issued by the Mariners in this inning, and the bases are loaded. And now you've got Josh Young, who's had himself quite the series. 3 doubles last night, a home run today.
Well, you said the 3 doubles, 2 hits today. And really the last guy you want to see at the plate if you're the Mariners.
Let me take you back to the 6th inning. Last at bat for Young. This was off George Kirby. Over the fence in center field. Mariners are using a mound visit here after the first batter that Bizzardo faces.
I think you've got to force, Young's got to force that sinker out over the plate. If I'm Bizzardo, I'm throwing it right in on the hands. Let that thing just bear down on him. Sweep her out of the zone. Try and use Jung's aggressiveness against him.
He's the go-ahead run at the plate all of a sudden. 2 outs. And there's the two-seamer. He fouls it off. One career grand slam for Young. Seager the runner at third. Berger at second. Smith is aboard at first. All reached on walks. The 1-1. Young gets ahead. Rangers had the bases loaded back in the 4th and could not cash in. Loaded up here in the 7th. 2 outs. Routine fly ball. Shallow right center. Julio Rodriguez makes the catch, and Mazzardo gets out of the jam. The Rangers leave him loaded for the 2nd time today. Our Charles Schwab game summary. Mariners leading 4-1. Canzone had the 2-run single in the 4th inning. A couple of solo homers in the 6th. Both pitchers going at least 5. Neither with a quality start today. Great matchup of Kirby and Eovaldi. Quantrill back out there, his 2nd inning of work, facing Cal Raleigh. Two, 3, and 4 due up for the Mariners here in the 7th. They'd love to get a little breathing room. Raleigh 0 for 3 today. Did have a productive 9-pitch at bat, a productive out back in the 1st that led to a Mariners run. It was Rodriguez who drove home the run. That was Crawford from 3rd base. Two balls and 2 strikes. Last year was in so many ways the year of Cal Raleigh. He won the home run derby with his dad throwing to him and his younger brother catching. First ever catcher to win the home run derby. Draws a walk. Today's team leader is sponsored by Applebee's. In Major League history, 100 homers, 100 bags in their first 4 seasons. A short and remarkable list. Bond, Strawberry, Rodriguez, and Witt. Last year, his second 30-30 season. Hit hard on the ground. A little flip. Seager to first. Double play, and that wipes away that leadoff walk. In Rodriguez's rookie year with the Mariners, he was just 21 years old. He had a 2020 campaign. It was the first by a Mariner since Mike Cameron. Got a Team Canada Josh Naylor fan back there. He is all in. Seager calls for this one. An effective couple of innings from Cal Quantrill.
Complete Auto Care.
It's a 3-run lead for Seattle beginning the 8th inning. Bizzardo back out there. He got the final out in the 7th. Bottom third of the order due up for the Rangers. And it starts with Evan Carter. It is a 3-run lead for the Mariners, but things could get real interesting this inning if the lineup card is able to turn over for Texas. That would bring up Nimmo and possibly Seager. 2-1. Ferrer just beginning to warm up for those lefties. The Mariners have not been throwing strikes the last couple of innings. 3 walks in the 7th and now a 3-1 count to Carter to begin the 8th. Gets a strike across there, runs it full.
The Rangers have had their opportunities. Bases loaded earlier in the game against Kirby. 1 out, unable to score.
It's a walk to Carter. And some good speed gets aboard for the Rangers to begin the 8th inning.
Obviously not trying to do it, but it's so frustrating to watch that if you're a Mariner, just because you've got a 3-run lead.
Well, the fastest racing on earth hits the West Coast as the stars of IndyCar take to the streets of Long Beach. The road to the Indy 500 continues tomorrow, 5:30 Eastern, only on Fox.
Was I not supposed to be talking there? I didn't get that in the headset or the card. You know, nobody said we got to read here, Eric. Be quiet.
We had time. I read it fast. See. Durant fouls it back. The last 6 Rangers hitters, 4 of them have walked. Texas was unable to cash in. They left them loaded in the 7th. They're hoping for something different here in the 8th. Short fly ball. Rodriguez in, and he makes the catch. 1 away.
That's a big out right there. Just wanted to put something on the board as far as outs before you get to that top of the lineup, and you have to see Nimmo and Seager.
Just missing outside to Higashioka. A lot of strikeouts and a lot of walks for Higashioka so far this year. Ugly looking swing, 1-1. Got fooled on that sweeper. Rangers very much in this game in the 8th. 1 out and 1 on. Popped up, foul ground. Naylor tracking in front of the camera well with enough room, and there is out number 2. What will Dan Wilson do here?
Yeah, 2 big outs there by Bizzardo. He's going to go make a switch. He's not giving him play around because you don't want to put a guy on tying run coming to the plate.
Brandon Nimmo due up next. He will face Ferrer. He's made the call. We've got a pitching change.
Fresh Pet, healthy food fresh from the fridge.
4-1 Mariners, top of the 8th inning, 2 outs and a man aboard. And Dan Wilson sets up the left on left here. He calls on one of 2 lefties Jose Ferrer, the only lefty remaining in the bullpen.
Not a comfortable at-bat against him at all. Rushes that moving sinker up there about 97 and got a hard slider. You know, I liken him much to the pitcher, the lefty Philly, Alvarado. Both left-handers, throw hard, got a nasty slider, just not pleasant if you're a left-handed hitter.
He's facing one here in Nimmo. 0 for 4 today, homered last night. Has gotten off to a terrific start as a Ranger. And first order of business for Ferrer is to keep Carter close. Rangers making it interesting here in the 8th. Oh, and 2, couple of heaters back to back. Two outs and a man aboard. This is up the middle and into center field. A broken bat base hit. Carter makes the turn, and the Rangers have him parked on the corners. The 1,000th career hit for Brandon Nimmo helps to set the table here in the 8th inning.
Just another reason for Skip Schumacher to love Brandon Nimmo even more. This is with 2 strikes. It's a slider off of the plate. Nimmo still able to cover it, strong enough to get it out in the outfield. Now brings the big hitter up to the plate. Tying run.
Nice milestone for Nimmo. Seager at the plate. On the ground, Young ranging, and a little dump off to J.P. Crawford covering second base. Once again, how many times have we said this? The Mariners get out of a jam.
Here we go.
I get your hat.
How does psoriasis know?
3rd inning of work for Cal Quantrill. Now working out of the Rangers bullpen, just recently called up. There's a strike to Arozarena. Mariners getting all 4 runs off of Eovaldi. They still have not scored against the Rangers bullpen this year. Gets out of the way. And a cutter that kind of backed up on him. Arozarena ahead of the count. Making sure Higashioka's okay right there. Both those guys spending some time in the American League East. Higashioka with the Yankees and Arozarena with the Rays for such a long time. This is fouled back. 5 straight 2020 seasons for Arozarena. Pretty impressive. He and Jose Ramirez both doing that. Last year a career high 27 homers for the Mariners left fielder. He swings through this. A splitter left up.
Quantrill very effective since he's been in. He's kept these Mariners off balance. As you mentioned, a splitter up and in. He's been hitting that location nonstop against Arozarena. Able to put him away there.
Raley homered his last at bat. He has never had a multi-homer game as a Mariner. This is third season in Seattle. Had a pair of them a few years ago with Tampa Bay. Off to a tremendous start. Raley has really been traded a number of times. He was drafted by the Dodgers, then traded to the Twins. He was traded by the Twins back to the Dodgers, who then traded him again to the Rays, who then traded him to the Mariners. If you can keep up with all that. So I say all that to set the table. Right. A couple of years ago, when the Mariners were getting set to acquire Randy Arozarena from Tampa Bay, the Mariners thought they might want to get a little reconnaissance on what Randy's like in the clubhouse, and who better to ask than a former teammate, right, who is now a Mariner, in Luke Raley. The 2-2. So days before the deadline, the president of baseball operations for the Mariners, Jerry Dipoto, called Luke Raley. So Luke Raley sees Jerry Dipoto's name flash on his phone 48 hours before the deadline. What do you think he was thinking? Right. Oh my gosh, it's happening again. And so Dipoto says to Raley, "Hey Luke, you got a minute?" "Yeah." "What do you need, Jerry?" "Hey, I wanted to ask you some questions about your former teammate, Randy Arozarena." "So you mean you're not trading me?" What a sigh of relief. Raley draws a walk. We go back to the Raley home run in the 6th inning. That could prove to be a pretty big swing in this game. It was some serious hang time. It was up there for close to 7 seconds. Only Matt Chapman has had a longer hang time on a home run this year in all of baseball. Canzone off the end of the bat, but's got some carry. Langford chasing, and it's over his head and off the wall. Raley, the stop sign at third. Dom Canzone leaves a dent, and the Mariners seeking some insurance in the 8th inning. Not easy to get one over Wyatt Langford's head. Infield in. Nice day for Canzone. 3 hits. That's the first extra base hit the Mariners have had this year against the Rangers bullpen. 2-0.
You know, back to Canzone, you mentioned the 3 base hits, and he started off this day. He saw 3 pitches his first at bat. Went right back to the dugout, but that did not impact him at all. He's had a great day.
On the grab pass, Duran into right field. Raley coming home. He scores. Canzone to the plate, and he scores standing. Cole Young delivers a couple of huge insurance runs at the bottom of the 8th inning. It's a 6-1 Mariners lead.
.106 off the bat. No chance at all. 2 more runs in. You know, you go back to that Arozarena at bat to start the inning with the strikeout, and that was a taxing at bat for Quantrill. You know, there was a little emotion there. He threw a few pitches, and then Raley worked him and started things off.
Ball and a strike to Rivas, number 9 man. Now the bottom of the order has been so productive today for the Mariners. Canzone a couple of ribbies. Young now with 2 himself. Raley the home run. He's scored 3 times. Two. Rivas, the opening day shortstop this year for the Mariners because of J.P. Crawford's injury to open the year. Crawford back and healthy. Rivas at third base today with Brendan Donovan on the bench. Throw to second, gets away. Young pops up as that ball dies in no man's land. And the Mariners applying a little pressure here in the 8th inning.
And I'm surprised that they didn't challenge this pitch. Thing looked like it was right down the middle, but because Higashioka was up and moving, didn't get a call at all. I think Skip's coming out to ask.
Now you are allowed to challenge after the sequence is over. I'm not sure if that's what this is about. He's pointing out to second.
Yeah, Quantrill, I think he asked. Not going to grant it to him.
The infield is in once again. Young at third. And Quantrill steps off. Let's go back and take a look at it. So look at Quantrill. When he gets back in the frame, he will tap his hat.
Yeah, he wanted that. And if you look at it just from when he just ran that by, that was clearly a strike.
Well, the catcher and the pitcher are allowed to have the sequence play out in the event of a stolen base attempt, which is exactly what Quantrill did. But he was not granted that. Jammed him, popped him up. Young by his own dugout. Up there, they say. Thanks, guys. We have had more long at-bats in this game on both sides. 8, 9, 10 pitches. This will be another 10-pitch at-bat. It'll be the second such AB for the Mariners today. Raleigh a 9-pitch at-bat. Rivas had an 8-pitch AB earlier today. Young is at third. The catch made. He's coming home. The throw is up the line. And another run in for the Mariners in a very productive 8th inning. It's a 7-1 Seattle lead. That's a great at-bat by Leo Rivas. 10-pitch AB that ends in a sac fly.
That's one of the things you just mentioned. We've seen tonight some just great team at-bats for both sides. Working counts, seeing a lot of pitches, moving guys over, sac flies. Two outs of the bases empty for J.P. Crawford.
A 3-run 8th inning for the Mariners. The Mariners had not scored off the Rangers bullpen in the first 4 meetings until today. And I say that following game 1 last night, where the Mariners faced 5 innings of the Texas bullpen. They were able to chase DeGrom after 4, but could get nothing, literally nothing, off of the Rangers bullpen. Two and two. Cal Raleigh would bat next. 3 runs and 2 outs, bases empty. On a 3-2.
Crawford not getting cheated up there at all. 2 outs, nobody on. Got one thing in mind.
Pitch number 7 to Crawford. He stings this out towards left center field. Langford and Carter, and it splits them both. Then it goes into the bullpen on a hop. Grand rule double, J.P. Crawford. Nobody is up in the Texas bullpen.
He got to that 3-2 count. The first one he fouled off, but he was swinging from you know what, trying to at least get an extra base hit. Got another opportunity to do it. Drove that thing, puts himself into scoring position.
Well, the Mariners have been waiting for a game like this, quite frankly, against almost anybody, but especially against the Rangers. The Rangers won the first 4 meetings head-to-head, including a 3-game sweep in Arlington. And in those 3 games, the Mariners scored 3 runs. They were shut out yesterday, so the Mariners scoring 3 runs in the first 4 games against the Rangers, 7 today.
Yeah, last night really uncharacteristic of what the Mariners usually do to the Rangers here in this ballpark. Tonight a little more normal. We talked about it earlier. Texas has lost 40 of the last 51 games here. 40 of the last 51. Like that's like you can't even try to lose 40 of 51.
Raleigh fouls it back. Well, especially when you consider the fact that the Rangers won the World Series just a few years ago.
You're right.
0-2. Rangers have not won back-to-back games in this ballpark since 2019. Crawford at second, 2 outs. Jalen Beeks is now up. He's been used quite a bit recently, 2 of the last 3. Rodriguez on deck. 65 pitches for Quantrill, who took over in the 6th inning for Eovaldi. Two. That does it for the Mariners' 8th inning, a 3-run 8th. We make our way to the 9th. Mariners have opened it up a 6-run lead. It's a 7-1 lead for Seattle as we have turned the page to the top of the 9th now. And Cole Wilcox, the first-year Mariner reliever, will end up pitching. Andres Munoz, Mariners closer, was warming up, but then the Mariners were able to push 3 across, so it's now Wilcox in the 9th. White Langford leads it off. And he calls for time right away.
Starting to swing it a little bit. Started off real slow this year. Starting to get his traction and doing what everybody had thought.
On a line into center field. Langford, his 3rd hit today, to your point. Here's Jake Berger. Now, we were talking earlier about the Rangers' struggles in this ballpark. If you go back to the shortened season of 2020, since then, no team has more wins in their home ballpark against a single opponent than the Mariners have against these Rangers. 38-10. Next up, the Giants at home against the Rockies. That's the thing. You look at this list of the top 4. Phillies at home against the Nationals. Braves at home against the Marlins. I mean,
makes some sense.
Yeah,
makes some sense.
You got some real powerhouse teams, or at least good teams in that stretch of time, against teams that have been at the very bottom of baseball. A wave and a miss on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball running away.
Rushing it up there a little bit. 4-seamers, you mentioned 98 miles an hour. He's a 4-seamer sinker guy. Likes his slider as well, but about 30% on average with those pitches.
Ball one to Josh Smith. He came off the bench in this one. The now everyday second baseman for the Rangers after Marcus Semien traded to the Mets. Hits this to his counterpart, and it gets just off and under Young's glove. Does not get it to second base in time. Langford is safe.
Ball was hit hard, came off the bat at about 104 miles an hour.
Young has been the offense today. His solo home run of the 6th inning has been it for the Rangers. And is ruled a base hit for Smith. Now for the Rangers today, it hasn't been for a lack of action on the bases. They have 10 hits. They had a season high 15 hits last night. They have stranded 13 base runners today and hitless with men in scoring position. It has been a day of missed opportunities for the Texas Rangers. They have twice left the bases loaded. And they have loaded the bases again. A single, an infield base hit, and now a walk to Young.
You know, back in the 4th inning, they had Kirby on the ropes. They had the bases loaded, 1 out, 3-2 count to Duran, and he flew out to center, and then a 2-0 count to the next hitter, Higashioka. He again flew out to center. You mentioned that they've had some opportunities, and they've had some real good opportunities.
Yeah, not just like a runner at second with 2 outs kind of thing. They've had some real prime chances. And the Mariners today have uncharacteristically walked 6. So 6 walks plus the 10 hits for the Rangers as Wilcox gets ahead of Carter here. 0-2. 1 out, bases loaded. This is drifting near the line. Young in foul ground makes the catch. And no throw to the plate. Langford scores. 7-2 Mariners. 2 outs. It's up to Ezekiel Duran. 2 outs, 2 on. One ball and 1 strike. What a poetic shot. It's 1-2. You can only build so much drama when you've got a hot dog hanging off by a parachute on a cable. But that's where we find ourselves here in the 9th inning. It does really tell the story. The 1-2. Line left field. That ball was smoked by Duran, having a day. Smith makes the turn. He's on his way home. Young into 3rd. And the Rangers down to their final strike to keep the line moving. Duran's 3rd hit.
It's a fastball up in the zone running right into Duran's bat. Absolutely scalds that thing.
So 2nd and 3rd, 2 away. Higashioka the batter.
Well, I know it's not the tying run at the plate, but you got to get this guy out because of who's on deck.
Well, you're not the only one thinking that. Dan Wilson very aware. He's got his closer back up, Andres Munoz. One. In there for a strike. Once again, the Rangers down to their final strike today. The 1-2. Tying run on deck for the Rangers. 2 outs and 2 on. On a 2-2. Rattled foul. Well, on a day of missed opportunities and missed chances for the Rangers, can they cash in with their back against the wall in the 9th inning? 2 outs and 2 strikes. The 2-2 again. Way outside. Full count. One batter away from Nimmo. Here comes a 3-2. It's inside, ball 4, and the Rangers load the bases again. And Dan Wilson has to go get his closer. A game the Mariners led just minutes ago, 7-1. It's 7-3 and the tying run coming to the plate. Well, the Mariners are saying, how did we get here? 7-3, Seattle the lead. Rangers down to their final out, but they've got the bases loaded for the top of the order. All-star closer Andres Munoz takes over. It has been a shaky last few games, especially his last time out.
Great opportunity to change the momentum and start feeling good about your season. Hard and harder, that's how this guy throws. You see last year only 12 earned runs, already this season 7. But again, just a nightmare outing against the Padres. So I mentioned, though, hard and harder. Slider about 88. Fastball, four-seamer about 99.
Nimmo at the plate ready. Bases loaded. First pitch swinging strike on the slider. Munoz gave up 5 runs in his last outing. It was a gut punch of a loss for the Mariners in San Diego. He could not escape the inning. Had to be pulled. Oh, and 2. Rangers again down to their final strike. Munoz ready. The 0-2.
God, such a defensive at-bat. So good by Nimmo right there just to foul that off. 0-2, he's just trying to let that thing travel and just shoot it to left.
Tying run at the plate. Another 0-2. He struck him out. This game is over. Munoz looking like he has returned to form. And the Mariners get their first win against the Rangers this year. 7-3 the final.
Yeah, from the pitching standpoint, George Kirby again, very good outing against these Rangers. And then Munoz, you didn't want to use him, but if you're going to use him, this is a great momentum builder. Comes in and does the job. Offensively, it was Raley and Canzone on the Mariners side. Finally scoring some runs, get them some things going. Trying to get a series tomorrow.
Rubber game tomorrow between these two teams. Two teams that very well could be near the very top of things when the calendar rolls around to September in the American League West. Mariners win at 7-3 the final score. Coming up after the break, we'll send you back to the studio with Kevin Burkhardt for our post-game coverage. For Eric Karros and our entire Fox Sports crew, I'm Aaron Goldsmith. Good night from Seattle.